wanted to make French beaded flowers but don't know where to start? In this video, I will go over the top 4 beginner essentials for making French beaded flowers. Hi everyone, I'm Fen Lee, designer here at the Bead Flora studio and author to the book Bead Flora, the revival of French beaded flowers, and a bead instructor at the Bead and Button Show. On this channel, I offer technique reference guides, free beaded flower tutorials, in-depth insight into the world of French beading, and tip videos just like this one. If you are new here and would like to learn more, consider subscribing. Now, what do you need to start making French beaded flowers? This is a question that gets asked over and over by beginners. It can be overwhelming because it feels like you need to get all the bead colors, wire colors, and wire gauges if you want to make beaded flowers. Once you go down that rabbit hole, it's probably true that you will eventually have all those things. But to start, it's not completely necessary. Let's talk basics, and I will give you tips on how to start this craft on a budget. Number 1, beads. The majority of patterns are in size 11C beads. Anything too big will look bulky, and most people do not like using anything smaller. So almost all patterns are designed using size 11C beads. My favorite beads to use are Matsuno Dynamites and Czech Preciosas. These are middle-of-the-road price beads, but are great quality. If there's a color you want to stock up on, it'd be green for all the leaves, and you can't go wrong with red, orange, yellow, and pinks for flowers. And don't forget white. I have a video that goes in depth into the different types of beads, so if you'd like to learn more, check that video out. Number 2, wire. Different gauges of wire are used depending on the size of the flower or different parts of the flower. As a beginner, it can be intimidating with the different gauges and colors. To get started, my recommendation for you is to get 24 gauge or 0.51 millimeter copper core wire in silver and in green. You can get away with using 24 gauge wire for most beginner projects. The entry project into the French beading world for most beaders is a rose, and that can be made entirely out of 24 gauge wire. I have a video that goes in depth about the different types of wires, so if you'd like to learn more, take a peek at that video. Number 3, tools. First, you'll need wire cutters and pliers. You don't need fancy cutters. You can get a cheap florist wire cutter from the dollar store or even use nail clippers. Though to cut some heavier stem wires, you want to get some heavy-duty wire cutters. Next, you need some sort of pliers, chain nose or needle nose pliers. In a pinch, you can even use round nose pliers. It doesn't need to be anything fancy. You just need it to twist some wires or tuck some wires in. The third tool is a bead spinner. This is a tool that helps you get beads onto wire very fast. For me, it's an essential tool, but some people use other stringing methods. I have a video on bead stringing that talks about all the stringing methods if you'd like to see the other free options. I also have a video on how to make a DIY bead spinner if that is more your style. Number 4, materials. There are other materials that you need to put your flowers together. The first is floral tape. You can find floral tape at the floral section of a craft store, but I generally buy off of Amazon in bulk, so it's much cheaper. The average price per roll is almost $3 at the craft store, but I can get it for $1 or less per roll if I buy 10 rolls at a time. The second is stem wire. You can usually find 18 to 16 gauge stem wires at the craft store. Most of the time, they're not heavy enough for a beaded flower. What you can do is to wrap 2 or 3 of those wires together to form one bigger stem. I like to use 12 gauge stem wires. I buy the rolls of galvanized steel wire. You can find it at home improvement stores, but I found the price to be more competitive on Amazon. You can even use wire hangers. For years, I cut up wire hangers to use for my stems until I ran out. Lastly, you need thread or thin wire. Traditionally, French beaded flowers are assembled with very thin wire. But I started using thread, and I found that to be a very good option to reduce the lumpiness in the stem. You can use whatever sewing thread you have, and almost everyone has thread at home, even if you don't sew, like me. That's it. I will leave all the links to videos and resources to where I source my materials. I get questions from people all over the world asking where they can buy certain things. If you are not in the US, leave a comment with where you buy any of the things I talked about in this video to help other beaders out. They can be brick and mortar or online stores. Then I'll put those new sources in the description. If you make any of my designs, I always love seeing them. Connect with me on Facebook, Instagram, or my website at beadflora.com. I have free PDF downloads on all the techniques along with video on my website. I also have more advanced PDFs, video classes, and kits. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Make sure to hit the notification bell so you get notified whenever I upload a new video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next week. Bye!